Welcome back. So this is part two to what we covered last time on Windows Server 2025. So today we're going to get into the second part where we're going to get inside Windows Server 2025, and I am going to talk about the features and the capabilities and enhancements and the value you're going to get out of it. But just to recap, last time we covered specifically a server, like what is an actual server here, what's inside of it, how it's being racked up, why is it important, why you need it, why you would use it, and how critical it is to your business, how your business currently right now is on a Windows Server 2022. This has probably been upgraded to 2025, but you don't see it on the back end. You just see access to applications, and how you as a business owner could do the same. We'll need to do the same thing as your business grows, so you can support your business and use some really cool features to get your business up and running and keep your costs low, right? So let's jump into it. So we covered Windows Server 25. So here's the overview. So basically Windows Server is four things: enterprise management. How am I able to manage, and that's a fancy word, enterprise. How am I able to just 10,000 foot control my business and being able to collaborate different systems, right? The next thing is data storage. How do I save data? How do I do things? I don't lose data. My data's in the cloud. Simplest way is my data's in the cloud. Behind the scenes, if my data's in the cloud, how do I have, and I'll just go back and show you this picture. Like, how do I have the right type of hard drives? Right, so these hard drives are actually on the server, but these hard drives are built to stay on 24/7 versus the hard drives on your computer, right? So how do I do storage? How do I exchange that data between other servers on my infrastructure? And I'm able to have a good sharing, and how to keep the security so no one can come in and steal my data. The other thing is applications, like Windows Server applications. So there's enhancements to the applications and the communication. So now I have the ability to install more applications and get more capabilities out of the applications. And then communications. How do I set up my communication protocols? Like IIS services, or how IIS services has changed on Windows Server. Now those are fancy terms, really more deeper, not fancy, but more technical terms. IIS. So really just getting into like how that infrastructure is in place and how it's working and so forth. Now and this is what Windows Server 2025 looks like. So it looks exactly like your Windows 7, right? So if I go back here and, we're looking at, getting started. Here you can see it looks like the Windows 11 interface, right? So that's a big change. They kept the interface. They didn't make it more clunky in the older versions, so they kept that really new interfaces. And here's some more cool pictures. Like you could technically almost use your Windows Server 2025 as a desktop computer, but it's just too much capabilities and too much power. You shouldn't be doing that, right? It's a server used for specific things, collaboration, to install an application that everybody could share, and you'll log in through remote access on your desktop, right? So that's how you approach it. Now, and this is kind of like my remote desktop, so I can log into like Windows systems that I have. This is actually where in my next video, I'm going to actually install Windows Server here. You're going to be able to see Windows Server, but I have like a Windows 7 here installed to kind of give you an idea. So let's talk about what's new. So what's new in Windows Server 2025 is 32K database page size have been increased from 8K to 32K, right? The Active Directory objects can now be repaired. So you have the repairing capabilities. Forced and domain function levels have been enhanced, right? Then also there's been improvement to the security of the default machine account. And then LDAP encryption has been enhanced. Oh, and LDAP encryption is default, but there's been enhancements to the LDAP. So, which is pretty awesome. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit more in depth. I just called out, some of the 4 of the items that you care about if you're really like patching and installing and setting up your Windows Server. But this is a link, and you'll just go here, and I'll share these links below, so you'll be able to go here and you'll see right here what's new, right? And this is going to get you a lot more detail, like get into detail, explain database page size, why is it important, ADM schema updates, ADM object repair. I talked about that. This is something I talk about: channel binding and audit support. So just a little bit more techie stuff that it's important to you. You want to know about when you're dealing with Windows Server 2025, right? So some cool features and enhancements there. Also, installing roles and features, the service manager, service roles and features. There's been enhancements into that. So when you get into Windows Server, this thing pops up, and then there's a bunch of tasks you got to complete just to get the configuration setup going. But there's been enhancements to the service manager and so forth. And let's talk about the 4 editions. Windows Server edition comes in 4 editions. It's going to be Standard Edition, Data Center Edition, Data Center Azure Edition, and then Essential Edition, right? And this here is going to just show you the additions and all the additional features and capabilities that are built in. If I go here and I go to comparison, you can see here it's the same thing. Share that link, you get a little more in depth. And I was showing you a slide, but this is give a little bit more depth and capabilities. A lot of this stuff really doesn't matter to you because you're a Windows 7 person, but as you build out your company, you grow to a 4-man, 10-man person. You're slowly starting using these features, using Windows Server 2025 and Microsoft SQL Server and Azure. Like, you start using these things to really manage your business and be a little bit more effective. And then that's the link. I just showed you that. And then just moving into Windows Admin Center. So this Admin Center is more like Task Manager on Windows 7. It just gives you a lot more capability and features, where you're able to just look over as you connect more servers, more computers, like Windows 11 computers to your platform and Office 365 and Azure. You're able to connect this into your network and get access to those computers and do updates. So this is a really separate feature that you just have to separately install into Windows Server 7, but just kind of wanted to give you a high-level overview of what that is, what I was talking about. Now, next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into, not now, but on a future video, I'm going to jump into a little more depth to show you how to install, go through the steps of installing Windows Server 2025. So I hope this was helpful. I gave you a lot of information really quickly, really very high level, but I do encourage you, again, in this video, go to our Windows Server Insiders community, just get some more information, and then spin up your own VMware so you can install VMware, and then you'll install it, but I'll do that in a follow-up video where I'll get into more in depth. So thanks so much for your time. Thank you for being with me on this journey. Look forward to connecting with you in future videos. Thanks. Bye.